How are you all? Hello, Merriam. All right, my name is Jay Sutter. I am the publisher of the Shawnee Mission Post. We are very excited to be here tonight in conjunction with the Northeast Johnson County Chamber of Commerce to bring you all a forum with the candidates running for office here in Merriam. We have our incumbent mayor, Mr. Sissom, and several candidates for the city council. We are always excited to be able to offer people opportunities to hear from the people who are going to be making decisions about the future of the city where they live. And with that, I will introduce our moderator for tonight, Mr. Brian Brown, the legislative chair of the Northeast Johnson County Chamber. Mr. Brown.
Get up here and get my 10,000 steps in. Thank you all so much for being here. As mentioned, my name is Brian Brown. I am the legislative chair of the Northeast Johnson County Chamber, and we are very blessed to have such a wonderful community resource like the Shawnee Mission Post helping us to host this event for all the residents and individuals with regards to the future of the city of Merriam. Some housekeeping items I'll go ahead and get started with before we move forward. All candidates running for mayoral office or city council were invited to participate in tonight's debate. So as you see, we have almost a full slate of the 9 individuals running. We have 7 present. Running for mayor at this time, our incumbent, Mr. Ken Sissom. In Ward 1, we have incumbent Scott Diebold. In Ward 1, we also have Mr. Dennis Miles. In Ward 2, we have Ms. Patty Newkirk. Ward 3, we have incumbent Christine Evans-Hands. In Ward 4, we have incumbent Ms. Cheryl Moore, as well as also in Ward 4, Mr. David Neal. At this time, before we get started, our candidates will be limited to 1.5 minutes for question responses, and we'll begin opening with 2.5 minutes for their opening statements. At this time, we will now hear the opening statement from Mr. Ken Sissom.
Do you want me to stand, or do you prefer we seat? Or
However you feel comfortable. I don't want to be responsible having you go through an aerobic workout
all right.
tonight, so whatever you
I just want to make sure everybody here. My name is Ken Sissom. I've been the mayor here for the last 8+ years. I guess you could say Merriam is quite a passion of mine. I started my affiliation with Merriam in 1979, and I've been a citizen of Merriam since 1985. I ran for mayor after I retired as police chief here at Merriam because I believed at that time there were some things that needed to be fixed. We had a pretty serious split in our council. There were a lot of things that weren't being done by the city that could have been done had we had more a better relationship by all members of the council. We also had some city staff issues, and of course I was pretty aware of those issues because I was a staff member. So when I ran for mayor, I had the luxury of having attended every council meeting since 1990, and even since 1992. And I've attended all the meetings up to this point, with the exception of about 10. So I had a good handle on what the city was up to and what it needed done. I was elected, and I was reelected unopposed. We made some tremendous strides with the city of Merriam. And I've been very happy with my experience as mayor. I didn't know whether the 3rd term was going to be in my cards, but when we got involved in the community center project, I realized because I have such regard for the successful completion of that program, that I wanted to see it through. So that's why I decided to run a 3rd term as your mayor. Thank you very much all for being here. Thanks to the chamber and to the Post for being here as well.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sissom. At this time, we will hear the opening remarks from Mr. Scott Diebold.
Good evening, guys. I'm Scott Diebold. I'm running for the council position, Ward 1. First of all, I'd like to thank Chamber and Shawnee Mission Post for hosting this, because it's a great opportunity for all of us, and the audience included. My wife, Cheryl, and I have been in Merriam for 25+ years. We raised our 3 kids here, and we believe there's not a better city, right, to live in or to raise your kids in. And we believe that wholeheartedly. I've been on the council for 2.5 years. Started back in March of 2015 when Chad Rowe gave up his position. I finished his last 2 years of his term, went through an interview process, was voted on by the council at the council at that time. So this is my first election, and it's been an experience. A lot of good, enjoying the process, because I am learning a lot about the process, a lot about my neighbors, all good things. I think in the past 2.5 years, I have learned a lot because I didn't know a lot about city government, and I've learned a lot there. Still got a lot to learn, willing to do so and wanting to do so to be a better councilman. And I'd be honored to be the representative for Ward 1. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Diebold. At this time, we'll hear the opening remarks from Mr. Dennis Miles.
Thank you very much for allowing me to come here. I have lived in Merriam. We bought our property in '99. We looked all over the place for a good community to raise our family in. We love Merriam. We have family members who lived here all of our lives. The concept of Merriam and the people that live in Merriam, we really enjoy. When I moved into our new home, the first thing we had to do was paint it. The neighbors would come over and ask us how things were going. I had to tell them, if they keep on coming over, I'm going to put up paint. But it wasn't until 2.5 years ago that when I came home from work, there was a door hanger on my door. And I looked at the door hanger and I said, what's this? And the city decided that they wanted to screen the trash cans. And my property, the trash cans were behind the property line on the side of the property. You couldn't see them from the road. So I went around and talking to the neighbors and asked them about it. And some of them said, well, you know, it's actually the trash cans in the front of the property that they're complaining about. I said, well, this says it's supposed to be screened on both sides. We went up to the city council meeting, had 25 of us, had 80 signatures on the petition. The first time that we went and voiced our opinions. The second time we went up, the mayor put it up for a vote. Scott, being a good guy, and I like Scott, he voted against us with 25 of his residents sitting in the audience. And I couldn't understand that. I mean, if he's a city councilman, he should represent the people and listen to the people. I, if elected, will listen to the people. Like I say, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Miles. We will now hear the opening statement from Ms. Patty Newkirk.
Good evening. My name is Patty Newkirk, and I would again like to thank the Chamber and Shawnee Post for having us here tonight. There have been a lot of changes this year since the election, and I haven't been happy with all the changes happening in our country, and so the year 2017, I made a decision that I was going to become involved and see what I could do in my own small way to kind of do what I could about those changes. And so I've become very active this year. And one of the things I wanted to do was just become involved. And so I decided to become involved by running for office. And I wanted to give back. And I think one of the great ways that you can give back is to become involved in your community and run for office and do what you can to give back in that way. And I thought representing my ward would be a way to give back. Some of my qualifications are, I've been a high school teacher for 15 years. I taught English, speech, debate, and forensics, so my background is communication. I also have a master's degree in communication studies and a master's degree in educational technology. I got a degree in instructional design and technology recently, and what I'm doing now is I train adults in learning and development, and I also teach adults. I'm a trainer. So I think my background in education and curriculum design and so forth, to let you know that I will be a very conscientious person on the council, research and carefully scrutinize issues that are brought before the council, make very deliberate and informed decisions. And as a communicator, I want to represent my ward, go forth and find their opinions, as you were saying, represent the opinions of the people in my ward, communicate their needs, listen to their needs, and be a good representative for them. So I think those are the qualifications that I would want people to know about me, that I am reliable, that I am ethical, that I'm honest and a very hard worker, and I would want to do the best for my community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Newkirk. Can everyone hear okay? Everyone's good? Can you hear me? Okay, there. That's what I want to make sure. I will speak a little louder. My voice tends to be overwhelming at sometimes. So, thank you very much, Ms. Newkirk. At this time, we'll now hear the opening statements from Ms. Christine Evans-Hands.
And I've chosen to go ahead and talk to you just because there may be some people that don't know me. I have the luxury of running unopposed this year. I don't really know how to act in that situation. I've lived in Merriam for 37 years, and I've been on council for Ward 3 since 2005, and I've been the council president the last 2.5 years. As that implies, I really enjoy being on council. And besides being involved in just Merriam, I try to reach out and have other opportunities in the larger community. So I often attend events at the chamber and at various leagues for city involvement and at Mid-America Regional Council. I find that those opportunities of getting outside of the boundaries of Merriam give me a chance to meet with experts as well as to meet with other engaged people in other communities, and I really value being able to do that. I have a variety of interests, so I've dabbled in a lot of things, including, but not exclusively, sustainability, solid waste management, lots of exciting things there. Communicate communities for all ages, aging housing stock and infrastructure, transportation, and public art. Over the years, I've been pleased to see projects throughout my tenure go from being just a kernel of an idea through the whole discussion process and then all of the required policies, procedures, publications, and all of that until ultimately completion. Some projects are dollar generators, but some are not. Some are quality of life, and I think both of those things are very important. Consider, for instance, IKEA, our car dealerships, playground equipment, park shelters, rebuilt streets, new sidewalks, public art installations, current right sizing of the police department building, and food truck gatherings. I want to continue to be involved because we're looking at some really exciting projects coming up. The new community center, as well as the redevelopment of the Kmart property. So, thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Evans-Hands. This time, we'll now hear the opening statement from Ms. Cheryl Moore.
Hello. Well, I am the current Ward 4 City Council representative. My experience and credentials include, I've been a 30-year resident of Merriam in Ward 4. We raised our family here. I've served for 7 years on the Planning Commission, City of Merriam, and then I have a master's degree in urban planning from the University of Kansas. Merriam has just really never been better, and my objective is just to keep the positive momentum going. So it's like, well, how do we do that? Well, first of all, it's continued fiscal responsibility. We've got strong sales tax revenue, low debt, healthy fund balances. The second thing we do is that we continue to make certain that the city departments have the tools that they need to work smart and be effective. So an example is the police department. is able to use data-driven or make data-driven decisions for safety, for crime and traffic safety. Another example is that our Public Works Department will soon be using radar technology to evaluate road condition, not just surface, but below the surface, so that we can make smart decisions and plan accordingly. And the third thing that we need to do, that we will do, is to continue to enhance city services. So a recent example is we have the limb pickup. It's an annual service now. The next is March of 2018. And that's not in response to storm damage. That's just a new service that the city offers. Another example is grants for home improvement, exterior home improvement, and grants for block parties to build community. Like I said, Merriam has never been better. I'm the best candidate to continue, and so I just want to keep the positive momentum going. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Moore. We'll now finally hear the opening remarks from Mr. David Neal.
Hello, everybody. I'm David Neal, and I'm also running for City Council Board of 4. And much of what Cheryl just said, I agree with in terms of the shape that Merriam is in and the
Mr.
need
Neal,
to.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. If you can you speak?
Yeah,
a little bit,
I've been
sir?
having some allergies today, so
Okay.
I apologize. I was going to say that I agree with most of what Cheryl just said in terms of where the city of Merriam is right now. And I agree that it's the next period moving forward that has driven me to want to run for office. I've never run for office before, but my background, I have an engineering and construction background. I hold a Class A general contractor's license here in Johnson County. And I also have been a small business owner for 27 years, both in construction and in software development, which is an odd combination. I have an engineering undergraduate degree, graduate school, computer science, software engineering, and I also have a more recent degree in web technology, web development, and digital technologies. About 2 years ago, I decided as I wind down my career, I plan to retire in Merriam. And when I moved here 13 years ago, Merriam was the best kept secret in Johnson County. I lived in the Missouri side, never considered Merriam a serious community, honestly. But when I got here, I just fell in love with the place. I plan to stay here. As a matter of fact, when I moved in, I have almost an acre, and I put in 18 fruit trees in the backyard. And so I don't want to move and lose that now. But I'm here primarily because I think someone with my background needs to be on the city council, because I don't think there are times where some questions that I think should be asked aren't asked. And we're looking at some projects, and I believe that I have the expertise and the background that will add to the expertise that's already on the council in other areas. So that's the reason I'm running. I have put an awful lot of information out on my website, nealformerriam.com, NEALFOR, Merriam.com, probably more than I should. But I'm not a politician, but I would encourage everybody to go take a look. There's a variety of topics there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Neal.